Hello again, this is Arbit again, and so today I'm going to be talking about a draft analysis of another league I've joined, the Drafter's Paradise. This is an underused Sword and Shield draft league, so basically only Pokemon rated underused and below are allowed, and basically we're just drafting as usual. This is a tier-based league, and you get 5 free agents, or no, you get several free agents, but with the remaining points that you have. Your budget's 1,000, and basically you have to pick one of each tier, and then after that you can kind of have some frees. So I guess I'll go over my choices. So I don't have as much time this time, so I'm just going to be a bit more brief, but generally my idea when drafting was completing type cores and looking at what strong threats and balancing out my ability to deal with various threats were. So we'll begin. So underused Pokemon, there's actually quite a lot that are really strong, so Pokemon like Scizor and Azumarill are still in this tier. But I decided to draft Nihilego. So Nihilego is a really strong Pokemon. It has insane speed, I believe 103 or 108, something like that, and a really high special attack. It's a very frail on the physical side, but also can take a special hit very well. So mainly the way you would use this, you can use Meteor Beam and Power Herb to make it into a single attack, a stab, 120 base power rock move that also raises your special attack by 1 before it happens. So it can be a massive wall break into sweep action. You can EV your Nihilego to actually raise your speed as you knock out opponents, which makes it a really good engine sweeper, or you can make it raise special attacks, so that's another option as well. Rock and Poison is not the best stab combo in the world, but it is very good. Obviously Stab Meteor Beams are great, and what resists it, well, Grass type, not Grass types, but generally like bulky Pokemon are able to tank it quite well, and Sludge Wave is actually quite a good way to complement it. So it's a really good Pokemon overall, and I felt like it dealt with a lot of Pokemon in the underused tier 1 list. The only exceptions were the Psychic type Pokemon, which were frail on their own as well, so Azelf, Alakazam, etc., and also some Pokemon like Amoonguss, which didn't end up being drafted, so that's pretty good. Next up on the list, I wanted something, actually I initially wanted something to help with start some cores going, and dealing with my weakness to physical attacks, obviously, as Nihilego, and I wanted Incineroar, but I wasn't able to get it, so instead I was able to get Chandelure. Chandelure is a Pokemon that's really good for breaking walls. It's a special wall breaker. It has a really good speed stat of 80, which is actually surprisingly good for a Chandelure. But basically what this can do is it can Will-O-Wisp, it can Hex, it can Shadow Ball, it can run Specs, it can Overheat, Fire Blast, Flamethrower. Basically you just use those 2 stabs and they're phenomenal stabs. Blacephalon is obviously a great Pokemon for this reason, and basically this is just a budget version. I can run this Choice Scarf and stuff, but basically it's a really good Pokemon, has a really good stab combination, and it's just very strong. Next up, I drafted Azelf. So Azelf is also a really good Pokemon. I kind of wanted something a bit faster than Nihilego to deal with base 110s, etc., and speed tie with 115s. Azelf is a really great mixed attacker, has an amazing move pool, and great coverage moves, ranging from Energy Ball, Fire Blast, Thunderbolt, and you can get U-turn, you can set up rocks. It's just a really great Pokemon overall, so I decided to draft it, and hopefully it will be of great use to me. I can also use it as a lead with Explosion even, so it's just a really great Psychic type overall. Next up on the list, we have Tapu Bulu. So obviously I kind of noticed I had a ground weakness, and starting with Azelf and Tapu Bulu, I tried to deal with that. Obviously Azelf can deal with it with Levitate, and Tapu Bulu with the grassy terrain and the ground resist, basically quad resisting earthquakes. And setting up the grassy terrain might let Nihilego take a single earthquake or 2, potentially. So grassy terrain is quite good with my Pokemon, especially it can help boost Azelf's Energy Balls, as well as actually Chandelure can also run Energy Ball if that's a potential thing. Fairy Grass is a pretty decent typing. Obviously has a 4x weakness to poison, but with Chandelure, Azelf, and Nihilego being my top other Pokemon, which all resist poison, that's I don't think will be that big of an issue to Circumvent. It was also the only Tapu available, obviously, because being the only underused Tapu, and I expect great things from it, basically. Next up on the list, I started just going down to lower tiers, and I just noticed Cloister. So obviously I wanted something to remove hazards, Chandelier being weak to hazards and all, and as Elf wanting to pivot in and out for free. It doesn't appreciate stealth rocks. So Cloister obviously isn't the best hazard remover. It typically wants to run Shell Smash, and doesn't have space for Rapid Spin, but it can run leads as a lead with Rapid Spin, Spikes, Shell Smash, and one attack as a potential idea. But obviously the main thing you would want to do is Shell Smash, have Liquidation, Rock Blast, and Icicle Spear. Basically it's a really great bulky water if it wants to be, but also a phenomenal sweeper as well. Ice Stab is also really great, and I appreciate that as well. Next up, we have Pangoro. So Pangoro is a Pokemon I've wanted to draft in several drafts, and being able to draft it this time is really great. I think it's just a really great Pokemon. It has a phenomenal style combination of Dark and Fighting. Obviously, most fighting types get Dark Stab and Dark coverage anyway, but having it at Dark Stab is really great because it also gives you an immunity to Psychic. Given, obviously, another great Dark Fighting is Urshifu Single Strike, which is sometimes banned in National Dex formats. It's just a great combination. Obviously, you're weak to Fairies, but I do have Resist and Heligo, which, I mean, most Fairies do run Moonblast, not play rough, Chandelier, and if I do want to take a physical hit, Cloister is also there as well. This also has insane coverage. It can also get like Drain Punch, it can also run Thunder Punch, I believe, Ice Punch, and Parting Shot's a great pivoting move, and generally it's a great Pokemon in general. I think you can run Choice Band, is probably the best set here. It also gets Priority Bullet Punch, so that's a great way to revenge kill with Iron boosted attacks. Scrappy is another phenomenal ability. It's just a really great Pokemon. It sounds so fun to use, and I can't wait to use it in this format. Next up, we have Licky Licky. Licky Licky is a great Wish Passer, has a fat HP stat and pretty decent attack stat, so you can throw off Stab Explosions with a Choice Band set if you wish. Obviously, being a normal type, it also gets other coverage, but Wish Passing is probably one of the best ways to use this. It's a really great lower tier Pokemon in general. I don't need to say much more about it, basically. It does what it does. Next up, we have Kling Klang. So Kling Klang was the Steel type. I wanted a Steel type that wasn't too bad, but also could hold its own as an offensive attacker, and Kling Klang is pretty decent for its price. Shift Gear is a phenomenal setup move, and it gets access to that, so that's great. Gear Grind is a great attack, being a bit inaccurate, but it's basically the same attack stat, base stat as a Behemoth Bash, so I mean, you can't really complain. Wild Charge is great. You can run Subtoxic. It's just a great Pokemon in general, in my opinion. Alright, next up we have a Mola. So I wanted a fast electric type. Unfortunately, it does pair the exact same speed stat as Nihilego. I would personally have appreciated a different Pokemon slightly faster, like Raichu, but I did lack a flying type, and I think that it kind of needed one. I was a little bit weak to fighting at this point. Yes, my first 4 Pokemon resist it, but then my next 4 Pokemon are weak to it. So I kind of wanted something that could take a hit, maybe. Obviously, Imoga is no wall, but it does get great utility in stuff such as Nuzzle, and Volt Switch, Toxic, Thunder Wave, etc. It can just... Electric Flying is a phenomenal typing, and I think it'll be a really useful pivot to just move in and out. Perhaps I might trade this in for a Raichu in the future, but I think for now it's a pretty decent Pokemon. Also, Motor Drive is pretty great, in that I'm basically immune to electric attacks. So far, I believe all my Pokemon, apart from Bulu, take neutral to electric, and having an immunity is just great. Is great utility. Alright, so the last Pokemon I drafted here was Gabite. So I did draft a lot of Pokemon that I thought were really good, but also some of them had typings that weren't as necessary in most drafts. Like Nihilego's Stabs. You don't need either one really in a Pokemon Draft League. Grounded Poison is pretty great to absorb Toxic Spikes, but I didn't need a Ice type. I didn't need but I think actually the other typings are pretty important. But really, point being, drafting the Heligo kind of made me sit back a little bit on my type cores. So Gabite kind of helps me complement that, finish off my Dragonsteel Fairy core. It's not the strongest Dragonsteel Fairy core in the world, but it should suffice. It also is my ground type, so like I said, I was running low on electric immunities or resistances, so Gabite and Emolga kind of helped me patch that up. I don't expect to bring it often, but it can be a decent rocker. It's a dragon type, so it does have resistances to the 3 basic elements, fire, water, grass. So if I do need one of them, I can bring it. It's obviously pretty bulky with Violite, but it can also run it can basically be a mini Garchomp as well if I wish. It has an actually surprising decent speed stat as well, which kind of complements my other speed tiers. So that's kind of why I drafted it. I'm not really sure what I use it for. I don't really know what it does, but I'm looking forward to seeing. Obviously, like I said, these leagues are to try and help me get better. So yeah, that's my draft. I think overall, I'm pretty happy with my draft. I got what I wanted most of the time. I didn't get Incineroar, which is probably would have helped me on the physical side. I'm not the best in physical offense, but I don't really have one single physical breaker. Perhaps Pangoro can count, but I'm definitely stronger on the special side with my top 3 picks. But overall, I think it was I think it's a pretty good draft. I didn't really get sniped at all, apart from that, so I'm pretty happy with it. Hopefully I get to use these Pokemon and show off how strong they are in a future video. So yeah, thank you very much for watching.